This is my first product launch since being named CEO. I'm sure you didn't know that.
1 week ago, Tim Cook shocked the world by announcing that he will be stepping down as Apple CEO. And no matter what you think of
Tim Apple,
there's no denying that he has grown the company to tremendous heights, taking Apple from a company valued at around $300 billion to a company worth $4 trillion in just 15 years. Cook achieved this feat in large part to his expertise managing Apple's supply chain, scaling up the business to produce hundreds of millions of their products, and the more you learn about Apple's supply chain, the more you understand just how impactful this one area was to their unbelievable growth. But Tim Cook, for all his business savvy, was never a product guy. Sure, he oversaw developments of the iPhone, the iPad, and the Mac lineup, and he did usher in some successful new product categories. The Apple Watch being one of his chief successes, it is now the most popular watch in the world and outsells the entire Swiss watch industry combined. And his biggest success, AirPods, which currently holds the title of the second fastest selling new product category from Apple, beaten only out by the original adoption numbers of the iPad. And it also holds the title of the second most popular product in terms of unit sales, outnumbered, of course, only by the iPhone. He also had his fair share of failures and missteps along the way, and products that just didn't take off, like the HomePod. And what I would consider Tim Cook's most daring product release during his tenure, the Apple Vision Pro, which I still think is one of the most interesting and exciting tech products released in the last 5 years. It's pretty obvious that it is not a successful product, not only in sales, but in the impact it has left on the mass market, which is basically zero. Furthermore, during his last few years as CEO, it's also clear that Apple has made a complete blunder of their Apple Intelligence rollout. Not only are the existing features underwhelming, but Apple still has not delivered on their promise of making a smarter, more personalized Siri, even though they announced it 2 years ago and marketed it to the public. But a new Apple is about to emerge. One that isn't dictated by a single individual, but instead a powerful duo. A powerful duo that will have hardware at the front and center of every single decision they make. This is a preview of John and Johnny's Apple, and how their next big product or products are already in the works. But before we dive in, I want to tell you why your iPad needs the Paperlike 3 screen protector. Because the Paperlike 3 coats your iPad's display with super tiny nanodots that scatter and refract light, reducing glares while creating a textured matte appearance that you can see and feel. With a more matte appearance, fingerprints are less apparent, and the natural texture of the Paperlike provides subtle resistance against your fingertips. And that provides the best writing experience when you pair it with an Apple Pencil, because the iPad's display now feels like high-quality writing paper. I don't normally like writing on the iPad's default display, and the Paperlike has completely transformed that experience for me, letting me journal and take notes with more precision, and providing the satisfying feel and sound like I'm writing on a real piece of paper. And with its super easy to use and follow butterfly application, you'll have a perfectly aligned screen protector with no bubbles with a hassle-free setup, so you can enjoy your Paperlike right away. To upgrade your iPad's display, check out the link in the description, and thank you to Paperlike for sponsoring this video. Starting September 1st, John Ternus will take the stage as Apple CEO, both figuratively and literally, as this will be the month of Apple's biggest event of the year, where they show off the latest iPhone models. John Ternus is a 25-year Apple veteran who worked under Steve Jobs and Tim Cook, working mostly on Apple hardware. Most recently, he was vice president of hardware engineering and has worked on pretty much every Apple hardware product for the last 13 years. Even Steve Jobs, who I would describe as a product guy, was not a hardware engineer. He was a visionary that understood what made a good product, and he helped shape how those products were developed. But from a technical level, he was not involved with the physical process of hardware design. Despite that, Jobs released some of the most groundbreaking and innovative products, thanks in part to his close working relationship with his senior vice president of industrial design. You might know his voice.
I think there is a profound and enduring beauty in simplicity.
Yes, that apple. That apple that was praised for innovation after innovation was built on a close partnership between Steve Jobs and Johny Ive. However, John Ternus is about to embark on a partnership that could be just as innovative. Because while Steve had Johny, John will have Johnny. With an H. Because while everyone is focused on John Ternus being named the new CEO, Apple announced something perhaps even more important on that same day. Johny Srouji, the brains behind Apple Silicon, will be named to a new position, Apple's Chief Hardware Officer, an expanded role that gives Srouji more power and control over not only hardware technologies, but also hardware engineering, the same position John Ternus recently oversaw. In fact, one of the chief innovations from Apple in the last 6 years, arguably their most important, has been the rollout of Apple Silicon powering every Apple device. An innovation that was born out of a close working partnership between John Ternus and Johny Srouji. Now this pair will have an even closer working relationship, as Srouji's position cements him as the de facto number 2. It is a clear message to everyone at Apple and the world: hardware leads. And you might wonder how this new hardware-led Apple will develop new products going forward. Well, the first glimpses of that new Apple are already here, because John Ternus's transition to CEO has secretly been taking place behind the scenes for years. In fact, you may have noticed the iPhone 17 lineup last year was different. It gave us 3 unique iPhone models. Now, while the regular 17 stayed within our expectations, we saw 2 unique iPhone designs. The iPhone 17 Pro sporting a completely new design with a big, bold camera bump, to say the least. This phone was designed to start acting like a true Pro phone, with an aluminum unibody design comboed together with a new vapor chamber cooling system to eke out even more performance from the powerful A19 Pro chip. At the same time, Apple also pushed the envelope on what's possible with the iPhone design, introducing the thinnest iPhone ever, the iPhone Air. A thinner iPhone was something Apple stopped pursuing all the way back in 2014 with the iPhone 6. And who pushed and championed for this radical new thin iPhone? None other than John Ternus. More recently, we have seen another product that is the brainchild of Ternus that might give us an insight into the future of Apple products: the MacBook Neo. Before the launch, many assumed the cheap MacBook would follow the Tim Cook doctrine, recycle an older MacBook design to just save on costs, and while the Neo certainly uses a lot of older Apple parts, what was shocking to me during its release is that it featured a brand new MacBook design that has never been used before. This product had a unique design, a unique identity, unique branding, and a unique name. In fact, one could argue that the Neo was Ternus's final test before being handed over the reins to the CEO position, as he literally led the in-person keynote for this product announcement, not Tim Cook. The Neo was priced way below expectations. It was a general shock when the $600 price point was announced. This was possible, of course, thanks to the genius chip design of Johny Srouji, where now the cheaper mass-produced iPhone chip was powerful enough to power a MacBook, a product born from the partnership of John Ternus and Johny Srouji. Although these products give us a glimpse to a John Ternus-led Apple with Johny Srouji as his second in command, it doesn't tell the whole story. But I think we are about to see what kind of CEO Ternus will be, and what sounds like one of the riskiest Apple product launches in recent memory. Because when Ternus takes over as CEO in September, he is rumored to do something Apple has never done before. He won't be announcing the successor to the iPhone 17. Yes, it is widely rumored that the regular iPhone 18 will not be announced at this first Apple event, and instead will be announced next year in spring of 2027. Instead, Ternus will take to the stage to announce the usual iPhone 18 Pro model, and then an entirely new iPhone category, the first foldable iPhone. Needless to say, this is a huge risk. The iPhone 17 was incredibly popular in sales this last year, delivering a great value and consumers notice. And while the iPhone 18 Pro should see a similar volume of sales to the 17 Pro, we have no idea how the iPhone Fold will sell, especially at its higher price point. If sales are lower, Ternus's first big story as Apple's new CEO could be that their first and fourth quarter revenues were lower than expected. If these rumors are true, it signals that Ternus is more interested in developing a new product rather than worrying as much about the raw financial numbers, something that, as I'm sitting here right now, I couldn't imagine Tim Cook doing. If we look into the future, we see even more risks, as Apple is rumored to pursue new product categories and more substantial product updates at the expressed interests of John Ternus. These include a huge array of product initiatives, from a new OLED MacBook Pro that will be the first MacBook ever with a touchscreen and a cellular modem. New product categories like a new smart display that will be powered by a new generation of Siri, hopefully, or a pair of Apple smart glasses with a premium design that will feature a camera that can record photos and videos while also being used as a tool for AI visual intelligence. There's even rumors that Apple is developing an AI pair of AirPods with camera sensors, an AI pendant you wear around your neck, a tabletop robot with a smart display that swivels on a stand that looks like the iMac G4, and Apple is even thinking about developing a security camera with AI features and a focus on privacy. Yes, even smaller products like a security camera are all on John Ternus's list of products to announce. The rumors for these products are early and the details aren't great, but this signals that Ternus is ready to enter more product categories and try new product ideas. It also looks like he's exploring product categories that may overlap. An AI pair of smart glasses and AirPods and a pendant, at first, sound like they would be the same product competing against each other. A slew of products that Apple wouldn't release, and they would just pick one to focus on. Well, maybe that's what we're used to with the Tim Cook era. However, I look back at these products and think back to the Steve Jobs era, more specifically the iPod era, where Apple was not afraid to release similar products that did the same thing, just with different form factors. The iPod, the iPod mini, the iPod Nano, the iPod Shuffle. All these products did the same thing in different ways. So you can see how, even though each product might do the same or a similar thing, each product having a different form factor might fit the user's lifestyle better. Still, Ternus's new product category pursuits also show an area of concern. All of the new product categories that have been reported on share one thing in common: a focus on AI devices. Even if we forget all the AI fatigue going on right now, I know I'm certainly kind of sick of hearing about it, right now we have to acknowledge that AI is Apple's weak point, and it presents a huge challenge for Apple and for Ternus, because while Ternus and Srouji will make sure the hardware is ready to support these AI features, Apple has yet to prove that it can ship a competent AI model that would power the features for these devices. However, behind the scenes, Ternus is said to be a decisive leader, while Apple employees would describe Tim Cook as more of a thoughtful delegator. A decisive leader could make quick decisions that, even if initial missteps are made, as was often done in the days of Steve Jobs with certain product designs, can also be quickly turned around and innovated on. And it sounds like that is what John Ternus plans to do. With Ternus being a decisive leader and Srouji at the helm leading the hardware efforts, we could see an Apple that isn't afraid to take more risks, and an Apple that isn't afraid of product failures. An Apple that will ship new hardware in the hopes of finding the next big thing. The new Apple is best encapsulated by the man that is about to lead it, with John Ternus sharing remarks at his first Apple meeting since being named the new CEO. I'm especially excited to be stepping into this role at this moment, because I'm telling you, we are about to change the world once again. Apple has an incredible roadmap ahead, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this is the most exciting time to be building products and services at Apple in my entire career. AI is going to create almost unlimited potential. We're going to be able to keep unlocking possibilities that are going to create entirely new opportunities for our products and services, and I'm so excited about what that's going to mean for our users. Well, as an Apple user, I can say I'm both cautiously optimistic and I'm looking forward to John Ternus's first one more thing.